Hi everyone, this is Module 8, Legal Aspects of Teacher Evaluation. I had an opportunity to review not only some of the cases, but the information regarding what it is that we need to know as administrators in the evaluation process of our teachers. What is teacher evaluation? It's a tool. It's a tool in which we rate teachers' performance as well as their effectiveness in the classroom. It is a formal assessment that we use as administrators. And of course, that evaluation tool has multiple aspects, including lesson plans, checklists, rubrics, artifacts to use to reiterate just what it is that we're expecting our teachers to do on a formal setting through this evaluation process. So as we look at teacher evaluation, we need to understand that it's a changing process due to past understanding and past experiences that the evaluations before didn't really differentiate well enough between distinguished teachers and low-performing teachers. We also found an inconsistency with teacher evaluation from state to state. Tools were so different that it limited what it is that we could do through evaluations on basing teachers' effectiveness. It is a need for a more effective and valuable tool, so it offers not just a score, but an opportunity for growth for our teachers. So we are looking at changing the evaluation to get better constructive feedback and have our teachers advance and enhance what it is that they're doing in the classroom. That is linked up to our Every Student Succeeds Act, and the provisions included in that were that the Secretary of Education would not determine the evaluation tool for the states, but that the states themselves would develop tools with teacher help, and they would be able to choose what it is that they want to do to evaluate their teachers. With that, they should make sure, though, that the evaluation has goals and a use of multiple measures when it's ranking and rating their teachers. States can focus on student performance. They can use their own support system to gauge growth, but the evaluation itself cannot be linked to student scores, which we'll talk about in one of the case findings here at the end of the presentation. The requirements include an opportunity to negotiate certain aspects of the evaluation, which is great for teachers. As I mentioned before, teachers should have not only an opportunity to give feedback about the evaluation process, but to actually be involved in the construction and the development of the tool that's going to be used. It needs to be fully funded and it needs to be fully developed. Those were a couple of the requirements. There would be consideration of the improvement plans and due process, and any contractual obligations must be given when this tool is developed per the ESSA requirements. Training is a key part of that, and teacher involvement, as I mentioned before. At USD 327 here in Ellsworth, we use the McCrell model for evaluating our teachers as well as our administrators. There's about 8 components. Of course, there's little pieces in there for each one of the components, but there's 8 components of our evaluation tool, everything from training to orientation with staff and teachers to the first, what I would like to call an official step, a teacher self-assessment, where the teacher ranks themselves basically on a 1 to 4 scale, 4 being distinguished, 3 proficient, and down the line. But the teacher themselves get to evaluate and think about how they are running their classroom and score themselves. From that component, we move on to what we call the pre-observation conference, where the admin and the teacher get together and they discuss goals that the teacher is working towards, and in essence try to set up the administrator for what they're about to see when they go into the classroom on the 2 observation times, which is component 5. One of those observations, of course, is a planned observation for us here in Ellsworth, and the other is an unplanned visit, where notes are taken and the admin has an opportunity to then write down what it is that they see on the scoring sheet, the rubric on that 1 to 4 scale. to get ready for the post-observation conference, where they get together and they review those notes and see kind of how the scoring laid out for the teacher. After that, then the professional development plan is set in place. Sometimes teachers' goals were given to them based on their scoring. Otherwise, you have some freedom in that last component to choose what goals you want to work on in the future for the next year. We are on a 3-year cycle in Ellsworth, so while we do get walkthroughs and 2 observations yearly, our formal evaluation is a 3-year cycle. If our teachers run into an issue with the evaluation process, of course we have NEA representatives in each building to visit with, to ask questions to. There is an opportunity in our McCrell model to post notes or follow-up comments to the evaluation process, or add in thoughts if maybe we felt the evaluation was low in a certain area or another. We can request another observation. We can also file our grievance, and if needed, a lawyer can be brought into the evaluation process, especially if it's pertaining to non-renewal of a contract. So we do have some options there, and it's something that I think administrators need to be aware of, because the legal aspects that we are held to have anything from the evaluation process to tie up our tenure and our pay scales, which of course we know in the state of Kansas. We've already gotten some laws passed and gone through all of those legal steps. We really need to make sure as administrators that we look into these cases, as well as understand what it is that can be linked to evaluation, but not, and things that cannot be linked to evaluation. Why? Of course, because there's new research that supports a need for an evaluation tool that helps teachers grow. We want our teachers to get better in their field, and we want them to have every advantage in the classroom. And one of those advantages is knowing where they are effectively, knowing where they need to go in the future. There are advocacy groups that are addressing evaluation laws. So I think that's another reason why this is a topic right now, as well as the court cases that I mentioned before. The Houston teachers court case that several of us have gone over and discussed is that the teachers filed against because they were feeling that the evaluation tool was lacking, it was incomplete, and that the teachers themselves didn't have an opportunity to defend what it is that they were doing, because what the district was using, their algorithm was secret. And yet going through the court case and of course the ruling, the district had to make changes and become more effective in what they were doing. Very important for us to recognize not only this case, but the other changes that are happening in education to make things better for our teachers and in essence, better for our students. So personally, I want to spend some more time looking into those court cases. I want to look into the law and understand the renewal and non-renewal of contracts and dismissal of service, and what my obligations are, as well as my legal bindings are to that. I think it's important that I, in this stage, ask a lot of questions of things I don't understand and don't know, as well as meet with and discuss with human relations. Now, we don't technically have that in our district, but I think it's important for our admin team to understand where it is that our teachers are going and what we are working towards, as well as those contractual obligations. That is kind of my thoughts on the legal aspects of teacher evaluation. I think it's a great opportunity for our teachers to learn and our administrators to learn from. I think it offers immediate feedback as well as a reflective piece that may have been missing in the past evaluations that we've had at Ellsworth.